Welcome to day number 11 of the 12 days to clarity. Today we're going to be talking about something that goes a bit against the grain, about standardization and unification inside of reports. Now, especially if you open up LinkedIn or Google and search for Power BI dashboard, you're going to get a lot of colorful, interesting, and, well, we have to say it, beautiful reports. But nobody really asks themselves, how useful are they? Do they actually help me make decisions, or are they just a colorful and beautiful way of presenting data that nobody is actually going to use? Welcome to Power BI, when I can quickly show you a couple of drawbacks from not using standardization in your reports. So first of all, we're just going to use two visualizations. We're just going to build them. One is going to be a clustered bar chart and the other one a clustered column chart. Okay, just like this. Let's first build the column chart. We're going to take our actuals, put it on the y-axis, and we're also going to put our plan on the y-axis, just like this. And then we're going to use our months and put them on the x-axis, and there we go, we get a nice little comparison chart. Now, building our vertical chart, we're going to use our actuals and put them into the x-axis again, and we're going to now use previous year. There we go, and put it in the x-axis as well. Now, in the y-axis, we're going to break this down by our vendors. Okay, just like this. And you can probably see that we already have a little bit of a problem. Well, first of all, we're looking at two different breakdowns. One is by vendor and the other is by month. Just by looking at them, if you're not paying attention to the legend, you would think that we are comparing two of the same measures, right? Okay, we can see some actual, okay, we can see actual is also here, but now this can quickly be misread as plan or this as previous year. So just like that, we already don't know, we're not clear on what we're actually showing to our report readers. Now, if I make this a little bit more complicated, imagine that you have three. Let's say, imagine that you have a forecast. And now I'm going to put a forecast here. I'm going to change this and I'm going to put my plan also inside, okay? And now for the other chart, what I'm going to do, I have my plan here already, so I'm just going to put my forecast here. There we go. Okay. And, oh, I did make a mistake again. Well, not really, but I wanted to show you this, that the position of the different measures, of course, mean that they're going to be colored differently. So right now, we have the same measures in our two visualization, but each of them is shown in a different color, creating a lot of confusion. Now imagine this, not only being in two different visualizations, but imagine getting, let's say, a designed report from marketing, a designed report from sales, a designed report for finance. Each report is going to have a designer, and this means that each author will individually decide on the design of the report and the design of, all of the objects in the report. Well, this is going to lead to confusion, and the management team that receives this report is going to make poor decision making because they will not understand what they're looking for if they don't decide to not look at the reports at all. Now, we are not the first to notice this problem. One of the people that decided to fix it was Dr. Professor Rolf Heerd in 2004. He took on this challenge to standardize business reporting, being inspired by other standards in music and in traffic, and created a business language, a way to communicate business data effectively. And the standard that he created is called IBCS, or International Business Communication Standard. And the good thing here is that the International Business Communication Standards have now grown so popular that even Zebra BI and other vendors are using them as defaults for their visualizations. This means that if we create a Zebra BI table and a Zebra BI chart, they will follow the same rules. You can see that we have here a few placeholders that will help us format the data in certain ways that actually have meaning. Let me show you. So if I now take my actuals, I put them into values, and I put my previous year into previous year, just like this. And now if I do the same here with my tables, I can take my actual, put it into values, and before we used plan, so I'm going to use plan now, and I'm going to put plan under plan. And you can see that the plan is actually different than it is to previous year, right? You can see that previous year is a light gray and our plan here is outlined. This way, a very important thing in IBCS is that everything has a meaning. Now, building this forward, if you remember, we had our vendors and we're going to put our vendor category right here, just like this. And we can see that we have our variances here, the relative here, and the absolute right here. And if I create the chart under categories, we're going to put our months. And I will just pick all the months in my slicer, just so you guys can see it. That's how it works. You can see that it's pretty clear what we're looking at. Like I mentioned before, previous year still holds a sort of lighter gray, actual is dark gray or black, and the variances are formatted red to signalize something that is affecting our business result in a negative way. And it's exactly the opposite with the green. If you're only starting with International Business Communication Standards, it may take you some more time in the beginning to understand them. However, once you understand one report, you're going to understand every report. Let me give you an example. So first, let me show you an example of a sales dashboard. You can see we have our KPI cards here, and the visualizations also follow this same structure that we mentioned before. You can see that the chart here also follows the structure, and even all of the tables. The breakdowns are easy to understand, and you quickly know exactly what you're looking at. You can understand that here we are, of course, looking at actuals versus plan. You can see that we're looking at actuals versus plan also here, and here, and here. It completely makes sense, and what IBCS really does well is it focuses on context. It focuses on how actual versus plan is different, broken down by different categories, so we really understand if we're doing better or worse. Our next example deals with costs, and here, although the tables are a lot more complicated, the same structure still remains. Previous year and comparison to previous year, because this is something that happened in the past, our actuals showing us how we're doing right now, and our plan talking about how we're going to be doing moving forward. The comparisons are all labeled and make sense, and again, we see here even the Zebra BI cards that follow the IBCS recommendations. Another almost impossible example in Power BI, an income statement. An income statement from something like Walgreens, where we can see we still follow all of the IBCS recommendations. We actually have a calculated waterfall chart that is showing us the flow of our profit and loss statement, so we better understand it, and we also, of course, have our comparison towards previous year, so in the end we actually understand whether our bottom line is better than it was previous year. I'm sure you'll agree that after you get to see one IBCS report, you will wish that every department in your company follows this same standards and creates an environment where you can actually make decisions and not explore and find meaning in your data that is presented in the wrong way. Now, International Business Communication Standards offer a great way for your company to quickly adopt some standardization into reporting and create all of your reports a lot more clear. We at Zebra understand that companies of today do like to have certain colors and certain aspects of the report that coincide with their company identity. Well, we at Zebra also understand this, and we think having standards is better than not having standards, and we allow you to make certain changes to the way your visuals look. So if I pick now our charts right here and go under visualizations, I have the ability to create a new design. Right now the style that we're using is zebra, but what we can do is also use something more in line with what Dr. Hehert proposed as the IBCS standards. We have a couple of more predetermined or default looks for our Zebra BI visuals. One of them I really want to mention is this colorblind friendly mode. This will not only help standardization, but also the accessibility of your reports. Now going back to company identity, we do allow you to make all the changes needed to create custom styles to fit your brand identity. Let's say that we have a company whose main color is blue. We can go in and easily change our neutral color to something that fits our company a little bit more, something like this. With easy steps like this, you can still keep standardized reporting, but still have a good sense of brand identity. Well, the customization for Zebra BI does not stop here. You can also make your own custom JSON theme and simply upload it to your Power BI reports. That way, everybody in your company can have your company identity at the reach of their fingertips. If you need help creating this JSON file, you can download an example from our website, or you can use the style editor that's available in our members portal, of course, for our customers. Well, thank you for joining me on day number 11 of the 12 days to clarity. I hope that I was able to convince you that you do need standardization in reporting. If I did, drop a comment in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.